Yo. Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. You ever thought to yourself, how do I finish the year strong? I need some ideas so that December doesn't go way downhill. Well, if you've thought that, we're going to give you a treatment plan today to help you finish the year strong. But you can use all of these at any month. It doesn't always have to be December. With Ariel Juday, and we walk you through a 5-step process to finish the year strong. So please listen up. I hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. Are you thinking to yourself, how am I going to end the year strong? Well, if you're thinking like that, we're going to help you because I have an amazing coach on today, one of our brilliant lead coaches. Her name is Ariel Juday. We're going to be talking about 5 quick and easy ways to end the year strong. So Ariel, thanks for being on. I always appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here and talk about how we can end the year strong and roll into the new year.
Yeah, so I always like to start here, just a little bit of thinking behind this. So, we obviously have a lot of dentists listening. So why is this such an important topic at this point of the year?
The end of the year is a stressful time, especially for dentists and their teams. For everyone in general, right? But we know, and then to add on top, it's never fun looking back and seeing like, oh, we missed our goals and we were so close. And if we would have just known, or we did one little push, we could have done it. So I like to just say, what are some quick, easy ways that we can do to end the year strong? Because we all know too, momentum is easier than motivation. So if we can get the momentum going and going into the new year, the energy is even better and stronger when our team is excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big thing to remember here is most of the opportunities we're going to share with you in this podcast are right in front of you. They're very easy to do. Just stay focused. And December, even as we talk as a coaching team, is just one of those months where you just can't predict everything. You can't predict the weather. You don't know what's going to happen with the holidays. It's just, and I'll tell you, my brain is not fully, awake during December because you're going in a million different directions, trying to think of people coming into town, if you're getting out of town. So the hope of this podcast is put everything, like Ariel said, just keep the momentum going because nothing feels better than when you finish December strong and you can relax and get rolling again in January, right? So let's go ahead and jump into it. So Ariel, what's number 1?
I think this is the easy one, and this is something you can do all year round, but especially at the end of the year when you're trying to fill maybe any holes in the schedule, but is fill it with patients who are already scheduled. You have lots of opportunity in the schedule already. You just have to look for it. So, for example, how many hygiene patients are in the schedule that have unscheduled treatment? Can we go ahead and get them done on the same day? Can we, or vice versa? Is there someone coming in for an emergency exam and they haven't had a cleaning in a while? Is that something that we can go ahead and just utilize those patients that are already walking in the door? We don't have to go searching. We don't have to flip any signs on the street. It's, hey, we have patients in our office in our chairs and they have lots of needs that we can look for.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one of the things we always say is, one of the best ways to fix a schedule is in the schedule. So it could be with the current patient, but also you might have a current patient that's coming in today who has a spouse that needs some work done, and there's an adjacent column that's available. So again, one of the things is just be open and aware and be thinking when all of these things happen, because it's the same for patients. They're dealing with lower levels of predictability in December too, right?
Absolutely. And we need to remind them that of like, hey, things get busy. We understand, we're here. You know how many times I've seen someone sitting in the reception room and the admin team didn't ask, hey, you want to get your hygiene service done today? Do you want to get that taken care of? Right. And like you said, so use the patients that are there, use their patients that are related in the same family. If they're already in your office, just utilize that opportunity to at least start the conversation.
Yeah. And I get this question all the time. I'm sure you do, Ariel. What about same-day dentistry? I've never really stepped into same-day dentistry. This might be one of those opportunities where you're like, I'm going to try it in December and just see if it works for me, right?
Absolutely. And, if your schedule is full and you don't have the space for it, that's fine. But there's a chance that you do have an opportunity. And just like you said, just try it. You never know. Work with your team. Make sure that, your assistants and everyone knows that, hey, I know this is out of our norm, but we're going to do it. We're going to just see it. And then you'll see the benefits because patients are really appreciative of, if they've already taken, a half day off and they don't really have any plans for the rest of the morning. Can they get it? And I also want to remember same day dentistry does not mean right now. So if they have a hygiene service and they need to go and do something for an hour, a lot of patients will come back, right? They'll go eat lunch, they'll come back, and then they'll get there. So don't think like it has to be done right now because you don't ever want to hinder the schedule of currently scheduled patients, but there's lots of opportunities. You just have to be open to looking for it.
That is so well said and a great reminder of just keeping your mind open. Now, let's go to the obvious on flexible spending accounts and insurance benefits for the end, because a lot of times our brains just go there. Walk us through those two.
Absolutely. And we all know, right, there's a lot of insurance and flexible spending accounts that at the end of the year, those funds expire. And those are, especially the flexible spending account, that is money that your patients have put aside and put away for that they're just going to lose. So we want to remind them, and sometimes they don't even know that they could use it at your office. So if they don't have any treatment that they need, they're not going to think they can use it. But you have products in your office. Maybe they want some elective services. I always say an electric toothbrush is a great gift. For you can just help them think of those opportunities so that way they, one, don't go to waste and the patients are appreciative. And then the second one, like you said, with the insurance benefits is typically it's a smaller amount, right? So it's not going to cover an entire service, right? Or the patient probably would have used it. However, it's still money that they can use towards that. And I always combat I'll just, next year. You don't know what's going to happen next year. Dental emergencies are real. Right. And I would hate for you to not use the benefits now and then have to use them next year because you had an emergency. So utilize them all. And sometimes it's just reminding our patients of that, hey, you do have this. Because let's be honest, how many of the patients know how much benefits they have remaining, or if they have that flexible spending account, they're not thinking of it unless someone reminds them.
Yeah, I would say a great majority of them don't know that, or they're not even thinking that they expire at the end of the year. So what a great benefit to just say, hey, just want to remind you that they do expire. So let's get you in to utilize them. That's a great point. So good stuff. Now, the next thing is to think outside of the box and be a little flexible as a team. So walk us through that. That's often hard for dental practices that are so regimented, don't you think?
It is hard, and I would say the easiest way is just set the expectation. Tell the team that, hey, for this month, we're going to be a little flexible. We're going to think of solutions because we all get that phone call of, I have end of the year benefits, or I haven't been in and I need to get in to use these benefits, or I need to get in for this, right? They always give us that deadline of December 31st. You know that your office is closed, that week. And so I hear a lot of admin team members answer the phone and say, sorry, we're booked.
Right.
And then that's that, right? And I know that those patients maybe have not been the best patients all year, right? They're waiting to last minute. However, they are currently motivated and they are wanting to come in. So at the very least, can we put them on a short call list, a priority list? Is there a way that we can utilize a different column or another chair? How can we get them in while they're motivated to get their dental care done?
Yeah, and this is a great point too, because they're talking to you or they're calling you to try to get in, or there's a conversation that happens that would lend itself to them coming in. And one of the things that you can do, and we talked about this before we hit the go button, is a teamwork column. And some of the practices out there use it. Can you describe what a teamwork column is?
So you take the name teamwork and you know that, okay, if a patient is in this column, it's going to be, we don't have a specific provider assigned to them, and it's going to take a team effort to get this appointment taken care of. Right. So we're all going to utilize our skill sets. We're going to all put together so that this patient can get their services done. And we're not skimping on anything. It's just maybe done in a little different order, right? Maybe the admin team members are the ones that sat them and helped with the medical history. Maybe the assistants took the x-rays, right? The doctor did the exam with one of the team members. The hygienist came in and did what they could do, right? So maybe it's not our normal flow, but we all pull together so that we can get that patient seen. And it's a good opportunity to remind the patient that we were able to work them in this time. However, set the expectations that, moving forward, this is how things typically work. And we're glad that we were able to make it work today, right? We always talk about training our patients, and sometimes we need to be a little flexible to get them in our chair so that we can educate them on how the process really works.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to be clear. A teamwork column is not a regular column that's, sometimes referred to as a phantom column that's stacked every minute of the day. There might just be one or two patients in there, right? Ariel, for the day, it's a column in which, hey, this is a great patient. We might be able to do our best work to help them in this time of day. Is that correct, how you see it?
Absolutely. It's not, like I said, it's not an open column that we can just fill whoever in. It's very strategic, a couple per, day, maybe 2 in the morning. And everyone knows, and the patient knows as well, that, we're working you in. It might take a little bit longer, but as long as you're flexible with us, we'll go ahead and get you taken care of.
Yeah, I love it. Just great things to think outside of the box with. Now, let's talk about creating a holiday call list. This is an important one. How does that work?
It's very similar to a priority or an ASAP list or a cancellation list, but this one's very specific to days in the calendar. So we know that, the middle school in your area, what week they're off. What breaks they have. Parents will call and say, oh, my children are off this week. If anything opens up, can you give me a call? We know that teachers, right? We know kids are back from college. So there's and even other industries have different days that they're off. So if we know about those days, I say be very specific to people and patients who are requesting those days. So it's the only time I'd say go away from your normal priority list, right, of people who are just trying to get in sooner, but use those patients' motivations of, hey, I know this is the only time that you can come in. Luckily for you, we had a change in the schedule. Can you come in at 10 a.m., right? And the chance is very likely that they're going to rearrange their schedule because they don't know if there's going to be another opening that comes up.
Right. I think it's also important to just kind of reiterate, these aren't just for the month of December. These could be used in any month. And I love the whole idea of creating, ways to fill the schedule on days of very important people in your practice where they don't work and you are working. We get this question all the time. What about teachers? I'm afraid to change my hours to good hours because I want to serve teachers. Well, one of the things you can think about, if you think big enough about this, is there are days in which you work and teachers don't. And this could include December. So utilizing December is a great month, and kids coming back from college. There's no reason why you shouldn't be busy on those particular days. So Think about it in that, that respect. So it's a great way to keep the schedule full with these important patients. Cool. And then take time to celebrate with your team is a big one. That's, opportunity number 4. Let's talk about that one, Ariel.
Absolutely. So we all know that, like, as we keep saying, right, the end of the year can be chaotic. And sometimes the last thing we think about is celebrating with our team. Oh, and I hear a lot of people say, oh, because the end of the year is so chaotic, we do our end of the year party or we do our holiday party in January. And that is fine. However, there are plenty of opportunities to still celebrate and keep the energy high, especially if we're thinking outside the box. We're trying same-day dentistry. We're utilizing a teamwork column, right? Your team is working really hard, that there's no reason that we can't have a random potluck, right? Or a lunch as a team, just do things that are different. And honestly, the doctor doesn't have to be the one to lead it and probably shouldn't. Right? There's a team member that would love to play festive music throughout the day, or to plan a Secret Santa or a white elephant. Like, just let the team do it. It's their idea. Let them have fun. It just keeps spirits high when we're, putting in the extra effort.
Yeah. And I think the bigger issue here too is, the holidays are a wonderful time for a lot of different reasons, but they're also a tough time for some families where a lot of people feel alone, or it's not the best time of the year for them. And you as an employer, if you can have a regular thought process or a cadence for things that are team oriented, and I'll be the first to admit, like, sometimes when it's an afterthought, you whip it together, it's not quite the experience you want it to be. So, if you're looking at a December that isn't so great, proactively getting the help of a team member, say, hey, let's reorganize that Thursday. Let's do something fun as a team. You might want to even do some education, but the whole idea of being together is a lot more fun than just looking at a half-empty schedule and everyone being somewhat distracted. So, and again, the whole theme of this podcast is to finish the year strong. It isn't always about financial. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's the connectedness. Sometimes it's just, gosh, I just want to feel better this month. So it's not all about money, right, Ariel?
Absolutely. And really, money's probably the last thing. I mean, I know everyone thinks of it, but really, like you said, you don't know what's going on at home. You don't know if the team members, what they're doing on the holidays. And it's just nice to be thought of, even if it is just, having a lunch together.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So just don't let December happen. Like, make the best of it, or at least try to put some good stuff in there. Now, step number 5, tell us about step number 5.
And this is 100% all year round. However, as we're talking about, not letting life and things just happen, is you have to be intentional about taking care of your health. And I know it's like, well, that's what everyone says. And we all know, and we don't have to harp on it, but we all know that we have higher energy and we feel better when we're getting enough sleep, we're eating healthy, we're exercising, right? We're moving our body. You're doing something to fill your cup, because if you're just letting things happen and your energy is going to plummet, then your team's energy is going to plummet and your patients are going to feel it. So really just extra reminder to take care of yourself, so that way you can take care of your team and your patients. Yeah, this one's a big one for me because I don't know if you're like me, but Thanksgiving is just the wrong time to start the new plan, So it starts on a Thursday. I eat a little bit too much. Then I have the leftovers because I love the leftovers. And you're with your family, you might have a little bit too much wine or whatever. And then Christmas is only like a few weeks away. So you're like, why would I even start now? And you start to get into this cascade of bad habits that lead into bad thinking. And you're exactly right. If I can get some good sleep between Thanksgiving and Christmas, then I don't feel so lousy on December 27th. So that's typically when I feel the worst, is you're just having that aftermath of everything that happened. So you're exactly right, because when you feel bad, you think bad, you perform bad, it all works together. So great thought, Ariel. Finish the year strong. Give us some final takeaways on how else we might be able to think better about finishing the year strong. I would just say, to remember that the end of the year is not the time to slow down. It's really a time that we need to be taking care of ourselves, our team, and our patients. And as we said, right, momentum is easier than motivation. So if we can end it and we can just get on a roll, going into the new year is going to be so much easier for yourself and for your team members.
Yeah, I love it. And if you feel like this year hasn't been a great year, don't feel like that anymore. Get involved with a group, get some help. And that's why we're all here. We have a great opportunity for you to be involved in our To the Top Study Club, where you'll be around some motivated people. We do our strategic planning in the last quarter of this year so that you go into January feeling strong. And then we also get the practice going again in late January with our study clubs. So it doesn't have to be our study clubs, but get involved in something that keeps you motivated, thinking well, because you have to get in this pattern of thinking next year is going to be better than this year. And when you start to do that, it's called a future pull. And it can be your behaviors, it could be your thinking, it could be your team being engaged. Our goal with this podcast is just to give you a little bit of information as you're listening, driving to work, if you're going on a walk, so that you can go back to your team, become a better leader, and create a better practice and a better life. So, Ariel, thanks for being on. I really enjoy it. So, awesome. Well, stick around while we say goodbye to everybody else, but thank you guys for listening to the Best Practices Show podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed today, do us a favor, hit the share button. Keep sharing it with your friends. I don't know how it's working. I love it. I love that you guys are sharing it, sending us suggestions for things you guys want to see. We're going to keep bringing it. And you guys just keep showing up. So until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.